Hi everyone! Thank you so much for coming and joining me again for another week of yoga with Amy. Woo! Is anybody else going a little bit crazy from the lockdown? No, just me? Okay, but it's so nice to see you here, and I've got a really special class planned today. We're going to do yoga for the spine. In fact, I'm going to take this off early, woo, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what we're going to do today. So obviously working on the spine is located here, and it obviously, starts at the very, very top of our neck. So before we kind of jump on our mats and get comfy, let's have a little look at where the spine is. So take your fingers to the back of your neck and just try and find that top little bone, the tiniest little bone, just at the top underneath the base of your skull. So we're working from here and we're going all the way down the back to the very base of our spine, which is where, we used to have tails here, but find the end of your tail, as it were, which we call the tailbone, and then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So we're talking about the spine today, which means that everything from here to here and everything else will all come into our class and our class plan. So have a little jiggle, get ready, and I'm going to throw in a curveball today. Oh, I will just mention as well before we get going that for these classes, for this 10 weeks of happiness class series that I'm running, I'm going to ask that for anybody who can afford it, it would be great to pay a suggested donation of £5 for a class, and then half of all of those payments will go straight to my local hospice to help the wonderful nurses there who are dealing with patients with COVID-19 and also looking after patients who don't have the virus, but who are obviously very, very stressed and, going through a really difficult time with their families at the moment. So if you can afford it, the details are in the description. Please pay for this class if you enjoyed it. But without further ado, let's get cracking. So come onto your mat, and my curveball that I'm throwing in today is that we're actually going to start seated. So what I've got with me is a bolster, but you might want to just use a couple of cushions or something, or even just one cushion to come to a comfortable seated position. And we'll spend a moment getting comfy, because for many, many people, sitting on the floor comfortably is not a sentence that sits well, and definitely for me, I found it a challenge. So grab millions of comfy things and then we'll just try and get comfy together. So you might want one cushion, you might want a couple of cushions, and what that does when you start to sit down is, let's say for those who can sit cross-legged, let's try this one first. When we have our hips raised up a little bit on the cushions, that just helps our spine, see, we're doing spine already, to get nice and long and to have that natural curve where it goes out here and then in here. So you can see that with the cushions underneath my bum, I can sit up nice and tall here. And when I breathe, I feel very open, very long in the spine. And so this works for me. But for those who might not be so comfortable there, then you might want to try and either sit with your knees closed like this and just sit on a couple of cushions and try and get comfy here. If you've got a bolster, you can straddle your bolster and then also find that nice upward lift from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. And just make sure that your upper body can relax but feel nice and tall here. If neither of those options are suitable for you, then pull up a chair. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Or come to sit on your sofa, and maybe I can perch here and just show you what I mean. Can you see me? So you might want to just come to sit on a chair or a sofa and make sure again that your back is nice and long, and you can see that I'm really far forward on the sofa, and that allows my spine to again be nice and long, because we're not slumping in this first bit. We're going to relax, we're going to find our breath, but we need to sit nice and tall. So choose your posture of choice. And then let's come to that comfortable seated position. And let's think about our spine. So I'm going to choose this one today. I feel really nice and comfy here. And as you can see from the side, I can sit nice and tall and I've got that nice natural curve in my spine. I'm not flopping the belly forward too much like this. I'm not rounding, because probably if your bum is on the ground, you'll be rounding like this without that support of the bolster or cushions. Okay, take your hands to somewhere that feels nice and comfy, so you can just have them just down here or place them on your thighs. And then once you've wiggled around a bit and taken a few deep breaths, maybe start to roll the shoulders a little bit and have a little wiggle. Make sure the spine feels nice and comfy and that you feel nice and tall, but also relaxed. Relaxed in the shoulders, relaxed in the face, and then just begin to close your eyes here. And continue to breathe. Allow the breath to return to its natural rhythm. Now that you've come to sit down and you begin to relax here. Notice if you've already allowed the shoulders to round forward, your body's slumping down. Just keep that gentle lift, nothing more. We're not kind of sitting to attention like this. We're just really gently opening the chest and allowing the spine to be nice and long. And as you breathe here now, I'd like you to just imagine that the breath is rising up from the base of the spine, so the tailbone. And just imagine the breath rising all the way up from the tailbone, all the way up to the crown of your head. Notice that little pause after the inhalation. And then exhale, allow the breath to travel all the way back. Imagine the breath traveling down the spine and down through your sit bones. So it's grounding you down with every exhalation. Again, imagine that inhalation lifting you up through the spine, all the way to the top of the head. And at the end of the inhalation, notice that tiny pause. And then exhale, send the breath all the way back down the spine. And just continue to breathe with that visualization of the breath traveling up and then traveling back down. And in yoga, the spine is a very important part of the body because it's the center, it's an energetic center where all the different energetic paths in the body meet and cross and crisscross through the spine. So you'll see it come up in a lot of yoga books and things, but really I think the ancient yogis were onto something, because if you think about where the spine is located, we've got our very important heads sitting right on top of it. We've got our arms coming out to the side. We've got our legs coming off down underneath the spine. And so really it sits right in the center of our bodies. And so we really need to take good care of our spines. And that's hopefully what we can do in this class today. So now that you have relaxed, you've found your breath, you've sent the breath up and down through the body. And if you have got a little bit uncomfortable in your seated position, you think actually it's not really suiting me, then find a different seated position, come to your sofa or your chair and sit on the edge of it, or just change your seated position to something that feels nice and comfy. And then from here, sorry, I keep spinning around, but I'm going to spin around again. We're going to move into a little seated cat-cow. So taking your fingertips onto your knees or near your knees, we're just going to start to draw the belly button in towards the back of the body, and we're going to tip the pelvis up, and we're going to round the shoulders over so that we start to create this ball shape. In fact, what I like to do sometimes is I like to pretend I'm hugging a big beach ball as well, and that rounded feeling just helps me to get the shape here. And then we're going to inhale, open the arms up, and we're going to try and draw the breath all the way into the chest, send the shoulder blades down the back and open here. And then we're going to exhale, take the fingertips either back to the knees or hug that big beach ball. Inhale, open up, swim the arms open, say hello world, smile, and then exhale, we're going to close that. We're going to give our beach ball a big hug. And just continue to move with your own breath. So this is just a little bit of cat-cow, but in a seated position. And it's just going to start to help us coordinate our breath with our body movements. And it's also going to help us to get a little bit of mobility into the spine. So when we come to hug our beach ball, imagine loads of space being created all the way down the back body. So loads of space, breathe into the back of the body. And then inhale, breathe into the chest. So we're opening the chest here. We're coming into that back bend. And then exhale. And then round over. Very good. And then inhale. Come back to a comfortable neutral position. And we're just going to do a couple of little neck rolls here. So we're just going to look over to the right side. Take the gaze all the way down to the floor. Inhale, look to the left side, and then look up, and then keep going. We'll do 3 in this direction. So that's 2. And usually when I do this in the morning, all I can hear is it's not good, but it's so nice to do a little bit of gentle warming up for the neck. Make sure the shoulders are really relaxed here, so we're not holding any tension. And you notice that if you relax the shoulders, you can get a little bit more out of the stretch as well. So come back to center now that you've done 3 on each side, and we're going to just take a little seated twist here. So again, you might be here on your bolster, you might be sitting with your legs crossed, or you might be on a chair. So just decide what's best for you. And so from here, we're going to inhale, raise the arms up, maybe take that into a little bit of a back bend where we lift the chest and look up. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to take both arms around and send the left fingertips to the right knees and send the right fingertips down to the floor. Inhale to come up really nice and tall, and then exhale to twist over to the right. Inhale, think about being tall. Exhale, twist. Inhale, become tall. And then exhale, twist one more time. Inhale, come all the way back to center. And again, just take a few little wiggles and rolls. There's no one around. You can do what you like, really. This is the spine class. So yeah, go wild. And then we're going to do it on the other side. So inhale, take the arms up. Lift the chest. Send the shoulder blades down the back. And then exhale, we're going to twist over and we're going to come to the left side. So we've got right fingertips on the left knee and the left fingertips down towards the floor. Inhale, lift up long, and then exhale, look over to the left side. Try and think about twisting all the way from the belly. Inhale to become tall, and then exhale to look to the left. Make sure the shoulders are not hunched up around the ears here. Make sure we feel nice and relaxed as much as possible. One more time, inhale to lift. Exhale, look to the left. And then inhale, come all the way back to center. Have another wiggle, have a roll, just see how you feel there. And then we're going to move into our next part of the class. So we're still going to use our cushions or our bolster. So I might just demonstrate with cushions because I imagine that more people will have cushions than a bolster. So what I want you to do is come to your mat to sit on the floor this time. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to keep the knees nice and bent and just see if we can use our fingertips to lift here. And it probably looks to anybody not doing this like this is quite easy, but really you'll notice how difficult it is on your back and on the back strength to ground down through the sit bones and lift even when the knees are really bent here. So the option is to keep it here, to try and work on bringing that strength into the back, especially the lower back, by lifting up through the chest, keeping the knees very generously bent and lifting up here. If you want to go a little bit further, if you think that's actually quite easy, then you can bring your knees, bring your pillows under your knees. Make sure you've got nice and, what's the word? Attentive feet, is that the word? Anyway, your toes are pointing up towards the sky. And again, you're grounding down through the sit bones. And I haven't changed the position of my spine. So notice if you've started to round, because that might be too much. You might need to take a blanket and fold it and place it under your bum here just to get that lift. So this is your option number 2. Toes pointing up, grounding through the sit bones and working on getting that strength through the spine here. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to lean forward. So this is option 3, to start to lean forward, and just notice if you can keep your chest lifted so you're not rounding into the spine, and see how far you can go. And what this does is it takes the stretch into the hamstrings here. So on an inhale, we're going to lift up tall, and exhale, send those fingertips down the legs. Inhale, lift up tall again. Exhale, fingertips down the legs. Lift up tall and keep watching your spine. Make sure that you're not rounding here. And then inhale, come all the way back up, and then just allow your feet to relax for a moment, maybe wiggle around with the ankles. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to come into a forward fold. So this time the back can be rounded. I want to keep the feet nice and attentive here. So send the toes up towards the sky, and then first we're going to lift. We're going to try and fold as much as possible without bending the spine, and when we reach our limit, we're going to just fold forward. We're going to allow the spine to round, and we're just going to bring our hands to our legs anywhere that they'll rest. And then we're going to allow the head to drop forward. And we're going to breathe into the back. So sending all of the breath into this lovely, juicy back body. And I don't know about you, but when I breathe and I think about my back, I can really feel everything opening. And it feels really nice to be able to relax forward here, even though it is obviously a bit of a stretch on the hamstrings as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our hands back to our legs if they're not already there, and just very, very slowly walk the hands up until you can feel that lift again in the spine. So come up really nice and tall, and then take the pillows away, and we're just going to do a little bit of this, wiggle, wiggle. And then from here, and again, you might want to keep a little cushion underneath your hips, or just try it out, because it can really help with that nice lift. Suddenly feels a lot easier. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to bend the right leg, and we're going to send the right sole of the foot into the thigh of the left leg. Then again, we're going to inhale here. We're going to walk forward, so either walking the hands down the leg or on the mat. Stay here. Try and keep that spine nice and long. So we're going to inhale and lift, exhale and fold. Again, this becomes a hamstring stretch here on the left leg, so keep those toes nice and pointed up to the sky. Then inhale, come back up. And then from here, we're going to send the legs out long again, wiggle, wiggle. Take the left sole of the foot in towards the right thigh. And again, establish that nice tall spine. You can see I've not left it round just yet. Walk the fingers forward, and maybe, and it's okay if you stop here, or even if you stop here, because that's enough of a stretch for your hamstring and you don't want to round your spine, so that's great. And if you want to, you can walk forward, continue to lift on the inhalation, and then slowly, we're not going to round, I said. I was getting too into it. And then slowly walk the hands forward, keep the spine lifted, Exhale, fold forward so that the fold comes from the hips. You're folding from here, you're not folding from here, if that makes sense. Okay, inhale to come back up, send the left leg out long and give yourself another little wiggle here. And then we're going to come into all fours. Make sure I've done everything I said so on here. Yes. Okay, so come into all fours on your mat. I'll just move my props for a sec. And then make sure that you've got the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. And from here, we're just going to come again into a really gentle cat-cow. Just a little mini cat-cow. And then a wiggle from side to side. And then we're going to turn this into a little bit of a sequence here. So from here, we're going to inhale for cat. So cat or cow. You know, I always get them confused. So inhale, lift the chest, send it up towards this side of the room. So we're projecting the chest this way. Inhale and lift, squeeze the shoulder blades down the back, create loads of space around the neck. And then exhale, we're going to send the belly button to the spine and curl the tailbone under. So that's cat and that's cow. We're going to come back to cat. This is our little sequence now. And then we're going to tuck the toes under from cat. So we're here in a back bend. We're sending the chest up. And we're going to tuck the toes here. We're going to come straight up into dog. So allowing the knees to be really nice and bent here. Sending one heel back, then the other just to ease into your first down dog. Then we're going to keep the knees really nice and bent. Come all the way back down in a controlled way. And we're back in cat now because we're sending the pelvis, we're tipping it down, we're sending the chest forward. And then we're going to send the hips back for a little mouse. So you might be able to get your bum all the way down to your heels like this, or you might want to come into a puppy pose. So keeping the hips high if it's uncomfortable on your knees to get your bum all the way down. And then inhale, come back up. So come back up to our cat. So we're going to do that again. So we're going to do cat, cow. Inhale for cat. Tuck the toes under for dog. Walk your dog. So one heel goes down whilst the other knee bends. Inhale to come back down. And then we're going to exhale into mouse. And you'll notice I called it mouse because that is what my yoga teacher calls it when he does this. And I really like the animal thing here. But it is child's pose. So come back into child's pose. Take a few breaths here. And then inhale back up. So we'll do that sequence a few more times. So we're going to come into that strong tabletop position. Inhale, send the chest forward for cat. Exhale, send the belly button up, curl the tailbone under for cow. Inhale, cat. Tuck the toes, send the hips up. And if you do this really slowly, you'll notice that I'm keeping my spine really nice and long throughout this. And walk the dog. Sending the heels back one by one, keeping this dog nice and comfy, nice and loose. Exhale, the knees come down. We're back into cat. And then untuck toes, come all the way back into your mouse. And take a few breaths here. So I like to send the fingertips forward for this mouse. Inhale, come up. We'll just run that through one more time. So we're going to inhale for cat. Exhale for cow. Inhale for cat. Tuck the toes under for dog. What we'll do is we'll stay static in dog. So keep the knees a little bit bent, but we're not walking the dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, bring the knees back down for your cat. Untuck toes and come back into your Little baby mouse. Take a few more breaths in your little mouse pose, and I wanted to introduce that little sequence because it's something that you can do at home just to start to work into the spine, and it really does help us to get that mobility because we're back bending and then we're rounding. So it's a really nice little spinal flow, if you like. Okay, and then from here we're going to do our balance, and this is a balance that I've put in a couple of other of these live classes, so you should be really good at it by now. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our right hand off the mat with our left leg. So we'll do that really nice and slowly. We're going to inhale, right hand comes up. Make sure that from here, you're not in your cat anymore. You're in a nice neutral position. So somewhere in between cat and cow. So you can see that I've not let my pelvis dip down. I'm not tucking the pelvis under. I'm just there in the middle and allowing the spine to be nice and long. Pressing into all 10 fingers to lift through the shoulders so I'm not slumping down like this. And then see if you can engage the belly muscles to really keep this core posture and this core, this position as we lift the legs. So it's almost as if the rest of your body is not involved in this at all. So we're going to inhale, take the right hand up, see if you can do that without wobbling, without moving. And then the real challenge is to send the left leg all the way back, but again, keep that really strong tabletop position with the rest of the body. So we've got the right fingertips reaching forward, got the left leg reaching back, pressing through the left heel and keeping the left toes pointing down. So just check if your left toes have gone somewhere random. Keep those left toes pointing down. And then exhale. Bring the right hand down and the left leg down. Again, come back to that strong neutral position. Inhale, send the left fingers out towards the front. Send the right leg back. Keep that really strong foundation with the right arm and left leg. And then we're sending the left fingertips forward. We're sending all our energy up and down the body, sending the right leg all the way back. And then exhale down. And we're going to do that again, but on the exhalation, we're going to make it a bit more of a flow. So we're going to come in and tuck the opposite elbow to opposite leg, and then we're going to come back out, and then we're going to come down. So I'm going to make it a bit more of a flow. And remember, this is all about your balance as well. Keep those abs nice and engaged so that we can really work the whole of the back muscles and the whole of the core muscles as well. So you're going to inhale, send the right fingertips up, left leg all the way back. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, send the right arm out, left leg out. Exhale, down. Opposite arm, opposite leg again. So left fingertips, right leg. Inhale, exhale, curl the elbow to knee. Inhale, send that out long. Exhale, down. Now that we've got that movement, let's see if we can do it without wobbling, without getting jiggly in our bellies. So really feel very strong here. Smile if you wish, because no one can hear you. You can say, I am strong. Yeah, I think you said it. Okay, then we're going to inhale, send the right fingertips forward, left leg back. Exhale, curl. Inhale, send it out. Exhale, down. Inhale, no stopping now. Exhale, curl. Inhale, send the leg and arm out. Exhale, down. Now we're in the flow. We're going to do it one more time. Inhale, out. Exhale, curl. Inhale, out. Exhale, down. This will be your best one. Inhale, out. Keep those belly muscles strong. Exhale, curl. So we don't wobble when we move out. And then exhale, down. Send the hips back or send the arms forward. So we're going to come into puppy pose or child's pose just for a little rest here. And then bring the forehead towards the mat. And take 3 really nice deep breaths into the back of the body. I'm going to have a tiny bit of water. Feel free to have some water as well. Oh, hi, David. I am strong. Woo, we can do this. I don't know why I'm so out of breath. Okay. And then from here, we are just going to come up into Tadasana. So come back from your child's pose. Then we're going to take the left foot forward towards the front of the mat. And we're going to take the right foot forward. Keep the knees nice and bent. We're going to inhale, come all the way up. I haven't got my cameraman here today. So we're going to come all the way up into Tadasana. And I'm going to show you how to move from this very strong mountain pose into a forward fold, because folding forward is something we do every day, and we usually do it like this when we're gardening or whatever. So I want you to think yoga in your everyday life, and I'm going to just show you this really lovely little sequence just to help with that. So you're going to inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, we're going to Superman the arms. And we're going to come to this halfway lift here. So we've got the arms in this Superman pose, so like a V shape. We've got the knees nice and bent, and we've got the spine roughly parallel with the mat. And you can see that I'm being really long from my tailbone again, all the way to the crown of the head. Inhale here, and then exhale. Try and fold your belly onto your thighs. You might need to bend your legs a bit more, and then come to your full forward fold, taking the arms down, and you can either take them onto the mat or you can hold onto your elbows. Then we're going to bend into the knees and inhale, come back to that halfway lift, Superman. And then exhale, inhale, come all the way up to your Tadasana, ta-da! And then exhale down. So again, just as we talked about last week, we're going to make sure that we start from a position of strength. So we've got both feet grounding into the ground, and that's going to be your foundation for this little sequence. So we'll try that again. Going to inhale, lift the arms all the way up. And then exhale, come into your Superman pose. So the back becomes parallel with the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, send the hands all the way down, bend the knees, and we're folding the belly to the thighs. So we're not immediately trying to get the shoulders all the way down or the chest all the way down. Exhale, fold here. Inhale, bend the knees, come back through Superman. And then exhale here, and then inhale, come all the way up. So again, it's helping us to coordinate the breath with the movement. So we'll go one more time. Inhale, hands up. And then exhale, we're going to fold forwards into Superman. Maybe on this exhalation, we can fold all the way down. The end of the exhalation, notice that little pause. And then inhale, start to come up. We'll come up through Superman. And then inhale, come all the way back up. And we'll just go straight away one more time. So we're going to exhale, Superman. I'm making my cameraman work now. And then exhale, continue to exhale all the way down. Inhale, come back up. And come all the way up. So you notice it's like a nice little way to bend because you involve your knees, so you're not taking any of that pressure into your lower back. So we're kind of do, and then it feels really nice and relaxed here. So our next little bit that we're going to do is, oh yes, here. So we're going to do a little bit of a sequence now. And again, it's all about the spine. So from here, we're going to lift all the way up. And then we're going to exhale, do our special little forward fold. So come through your Superman and then come all the way down. And then once you've got your hands on the floor, press all 10 fingers into the mat. We're going to send the right foot all the way back along the mat. So again, keep the arms here. This is a good foundation, but try and lengthen through the spine. And then from here, with our right hand still down on the mat, we're going to lift the left. We're going to take a little twist to the left side, looking up somewhere towards the left hand. And then exhale down. And then either we can drop that knee to bring the left leg back, or we can keep that knee up. So you might be here and you want to come all the way into plank. And then you can either drop the knees here or stay in plank to come all the way down into your little chaturanga here. And then from here, we're going to do a couple of back strengthening moves whilst we're here on our belly. So our bellies are a really good place to work the back, and we're going to try a few variations of locust pose. So get into a comfortable position. I know it's not that comfortable on the front of your body. And then make a little pillow with your hands, and then place your head just on your little pillow so that you can relax the whole of your upper body, because we're going to work the legs first. So come down with your forehead, and then take a few breaths here before we start with the leg movements. And then you might want to wiggle your hips and just get nice and comfy here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to send the right foot out long. So just pointing the toes, sending the right foot out long and just lifting it up off the ground a little bit. See how it feels today. Exhale down, send the left leg out long. So we're stretching the leg out. So it feels like all the way from the hip to the toe, to the toes. All the way from there, we're going to send the leg out long. So just starting to see how many more inches we can get in the legs, if you like. And then once we've checked that out, once we've got a bit of extra length in the legs and we've settled into our hips, we're going to inhale, keeping the forehead down, and exhale as we swim the legs, which means just lifting and engaging all the muscles in the legs and just doing a little bit of a swimming motion here. So we're tapping the toes onto the ground. We're lifting up maybe an inch or two, maybe not even that much, keeping the forehead down, keeping the upper body relaxed, engaging all the muscles in the legs, and then exhale, relax, allow the whole body, the whole bum, everywhere, just to relax. And take a few deep breaths here. We're going to go again. So we're going to fire up the whole of the legs, which includes the bum cheeks, because that's going to help to strengthen the back as well. So we're going to send the left toes up, then the right, and just start swimming the legs. So lifting right, lifting left, a couple of inches off the ground, keeping the forehead down, engage all of those muscles, engage the glutes, really work the legs, but do it in a tiny little movement, which will just really help to work all of those muscles, especially in the lower back. See if you can lift and stretch from the hip all the way to the toes. And then exhale, relax. And we'll just do that one more time. Or we'll have a sleep, maybe. No, we'll do this one more time. So keep the forehead down and relaxed. And then engage all the muscles of the legs, including the glutes. Lift the toes. Right leg, then the left leg. Keeping that forehead down. And just swimming the legs to really start to feel the work that your back is doing here. Can you stretch the toes out further away from the body as you do this? And exhale down. Oh, who's aching already? And then from here, make sure I'm not missing anything on my little sheet. Very good. Okay, so from here, we're going to ground the toes, the tops of the feet down into the mat. And we're going to do a little lift, a little Bhujangasana, baby cobra lift. So we're going to start with the forehead down. We're going to take the hands to underneath the shoulders. Keep looking down towards the mat. And again, we're going to engage the legs, but we're not going to lift them. So plant the tops of the feet into the mat, engage all the legs and the bum muscles. Inhale, bring the shoulder blades down the back and lift up. Smile. And exhale, lower down. Try that again. Inhale. And think about lengthening from the tailbone to the crown of the head. So we're keeping the shoulder blades down so that we can lift and lengthen. Exhale down. Going to do another one. Inhale. Send the breath all the way up through the spine. And this time, take your hands off the ground to make sure that it is your lower back doing the work. Okay? Exhale down. Take a breath. Inhale up. Again, you might want to test your back. Exhale down. And then just do one more. Inhale. Lift and lengthen. Lift out of your pelvis. Maybe take the hands off to test yourself. And down. Very good. And then we're going to do a little modified locust pose. So from here, we're going to inhale. We're going to take the hands to wherever feels comfy. So we're just going to experiment here. They might feel comfy here, 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 here. If you have your hands out long in the full locust, that puts a little bit more pressure on your back. So if you feel like your back's nice and strong, then take your arms out forward. And what we're going to do is we're going to do another kind of Superman pose. If you're not sure what locust is, we're going to lift all 4 limbs. So both arms, both legs. So make sure you feel prepared to do that. I might keep my hands here for this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ground down into those bony bits on my hips. I'm going to send the legs out long. So I'm lengthening from the hip all the way to the feet. I'm going to lift the legs first. And then lift up and lengthen through the spine. So you're really keeping everything here down on the mat. You're lifting up and then exhale down. Inhale again, lift up. And maybe take the arms out forward in your full Superman. Maybe keep them here, 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 wherever. And then exhale down. One more time. Inhale, ground into the pelvis, the front of the hips. Lift through the legs, lift through the chest. Maybe you're here, maybe you're here. Maybe you're here. And then exhale down. We're going to press into the fingertips. Gently lift the body up. And we're going to move back into a puppy pose or a child's pose or an extended child's pose with the legs out wide. And just allow the back to fully relax here. So you might want to have your arms forward if you feel like you can relax the spine here. I quite like it when I round down and take the arms down by the side of the body. So give your back a few breaths into the back of the body just to relax and say well done, because it's worked very hard. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to tuck the toes under and we're going to lift up and back into our downward dog again. Inhale. Make this a nice strong downward dog. So we keep the knees bent, but we're pressing into the fingers, lifting up through the spine. Remember that downward dog is to lengthen the spine. It's not really about the hamstrings. You can bring those in later. And then from here, we're going to step the right foot forward. And then we're going to ground down into our left hand. And we're going to lift up and twist over to this left side. So send the fingertips up. Send the gaze up to look towards the right fingertips. Keep nice and strong in your back leg. Then exhale, bring the right hand down. And then keeping everything nice and bouncy here and nice and grounded, we're going to inhale, lift the back leg up to meet the front. Exhale, send the body down. We're going to spend a few breaths here in our forward fold. So you can hold your elbows or you can hold onto the ground. Make sure you relax the neck here. Send the breath into the back of the body again. Inhale and exhale. And then we're going to bend the knees. We're going to come up through our little mini Superman thingy here. So inhale, lift. And then exhale, inhale, come all the way up through our Tadasana. Make sure you feel okay, not too dizzy. Maybe have a wiggle. And then we're going to start to slowly work our way back down towards the mat. I always like to put a little bit of a squat in when we're coming back down, but that's up to you. So either just make your way to the mat, or you can join me in doing a little bit of a squat. So inhale, lift up, and exhale, squat, squat, squat. Might need to come up on your heels here, so you can go up all the way down to the ground. Allow your bum to come onto the ground, and then we'll do a little bit of a lift here with a lift here? No, I'm going to do a little bit of a bridge here. I'm losing my brains. Okay, so come down onto the mat so that, again, your back is nice and long here. You feel relaxed in your upper body. Press into all 10 toes. Press into the fingers, because that can sometimes help you to lift here. And then inhale, engage the glutes, engage all the muscles of the legs, just as we did in our little locust pose. And then we're going to lift the hips and then exhale back down. Allow the bum, the legs to relax here. Take a breath. Then inhale, scoop the tailbone under. Engage all the muscles in the legs to lift up. And then here, if you wish, you can clasp your fingers together and you can wiggle the shoulder blades down for that nice little back bend. But make sure that you've still got a space under your neck, so you're not pressing the back of your neck into the mat. And then exhale down. And then relax the muscles of the legs. One more time, we're going to inhale, roll up, and clasp the hands together. Really try and press into the toes, engage the muscles in the glutes and the legs. And this time we want to think about bringing the shoulder blades down the back and lifting the chest up towards the chin. And then exhale down. Have a wiggle. Wiggle the bum. Then we're going to take both knees in towards the body. And we're just going to rock and roll. Have a nice little back massage here in your Apanasana. And then I always like to take my knees around in one direction and then in the other direction. And then have a good old shake out here. A few deep breaths. Do whatever you like here, really. Blow raspberries. And then exhale, take the arms and legs back down. And we're just going to do a few very gentle windscreen wiper movements. So we're keeping the feet where they are. And we're just going to slowly take the legs over to the right, legs out to the left. Inhale and exhale. And then you might want to take the head into this again. So you might want to look left when the legs go right. Inhale to center, exhale, legs left, look right. Is that what I just said? Maybe. Legs right, look left. And then inhale, center, legs left, look right. And then one last time, let's take the knees in towards the body. This time, roll your shoulders up, give yourselves a big hug. Say, well done for doing this yoga class. And then we're going to come to lying down in Shavasana. So you might want to grab your jacket, and we're going to enjoy a bit more time in Shavasana this week, because I always like to leave a bit of time. I think it is the most important thing that you can do in terms of allowing your whole nervous system to kind of reset and giving yourself the break that you deserve as well. It's self-care. So yes, feel very strongly about Shavasana, so do stay with me here. So before we go into Shavasana, we're going to do a nice big full body stretch, but not before I've got all my bits and bobs that I might want. I'm going to put a bolster or cushions underneath my knees, And I've got my blanket too, which I'm going to just use to fully enjoy this Shavasana. Before I do that, I'm going to take a nice big stretch. So got my socks on now, got my jacket on. I'm nice and cozy. Inhale, take the arms up overhead, stretch the legs out long, really send lots of love and appreciation to your spine. Take a nice deep breath. And then get yourself all set up for your Shavasana here. So I'm going to take the bolster underneath my legs because I like that little lift. Alternatively, if you are near a sofa or a chair, you can always lie down and have your legs up on the chair or the sofa because that feels really nice as well. There's lots of different things we can do to fully enjoy this. And I imagine that you've probably not switched off all day since you woke up. So this is your moment. So come down, take the blanket to wherever you need it, glasses off, closing the eyes, making sure that the hands, the legs, the body, everything is nice and comfy. If you find that you're not comfy throughout your Shavasana, please do just move, get comfy. Don't feel like you have to stay in one position. And then we're just going to allow the breath to return to its natural rhythm. So if it feels nice for you, you can take a few more deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So you can sigh it out. And with every exhalation, just allow the whole of the body to relax down into the mat. Allow the earth beneath you to fully support the body. And just notice all of those places where the body comes into contact with the mat. So this might be at the back of the head, the shoulders, the backs of the hands and the arms. This might be at the back of the hips and the bum. You might feel your legs sinking down into the mat, and then your heels. So noticing all those places that touch the mat. And then allow the whole of the body in all those places to become very heavy, to really sink down and be held by the mat and be held by the earth. Noticing any areas where you're still holding that tension, perhaps, which is one that I always forget, in the face, so furrowing the eyebrows and the forehead, maybe clenching the jaw. Just try and loosen off the face. You can even do some strange little facial movements, so opening the mouth wide as if you're screaming, and then closing the mouth, maybe pursing the lips, maybe moving the mouth from side to side. And just loosening off the jaw with some very strange little facial movements. And then maybe after that you can allow the face, the jaw, the forehead to relax. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed down away from the ears and that the chin is parallel with the ground. And then, just as we did at the start of the class, just start to imagine the breath traveling up through the body from the base of the spine at the tailbone. And then imagine the breath traveling all the way up the spine. And then at the end of the inhalation, imagine the breath has reached the top of the head, so the crown of the head. And then exhale, send the breath all the way back down the body. Sometimes I like to imagine that the breath travels all the way down through the legs as well, and passes out through the feet. And then on that inhalation, it travels all the way back up through the feet again, through the line of the spine, up through the crown of the head. Again, notice and appreciate that little pause before the exhalation begins. And then exhale, send the breath back down the body. And just see if you can continue with that visualization of the breath physically moving through the body from the feet to the crown of the head. And then something else that's quite nice to try is to think about the center of your body. So a point below your belly button, somewhere between your belly button and your spine. And then just imagine the breath traveling out in all directions. So sending it down towards the toes, up towards the head, out towards the hands and the fingers. And then when you exhale, the breath gathers back into the center of the body. So if the first visualization didn't quite work for you, it's not working with your breath, that's fine. Just imagine the breath starting somewhere at the center, and inhale, it comes all the way out, and then exhale, comes all the way back down. And it's still imagining the spine and the whole of the body as channels, as having channels where the energy can flow through. And so the spine is at the center of all of that. And we've taken really good care of it today. We've strengthened it, we've mobilized it. And now we're just allowing the breath to travel up and down the spine through these energy channels. And hopefully we've removed any creaks and cramps and aches and pains and anything that might be blocking that lovely flow of breath and that lovely flow of energy up and down the body. So I'm going to invite you to stay here for as long as you like and really enjoy giving yourself this moment and thanking your body and thanking your spine for everything that it does, because really it's a very important thing. And I'm going to thank you all for joining me. Make sure that when you do come out of your Shavasana later, that you just start to wiggle the fingers and then just come up really slowly and see if you can hold a bit of that feeling with you, that you've managed to create that really nice grounded feeling, that relaxed, calm feeling, and then just try and take it with you through to the rest of your evening. So thank you so much. It's been lovely to have you. Like I said, please, if you can afford it, please do pay the suggested donation to the class. And the details of that are in the description below, because I will be sending half of all those payments straight to our hospice to just help the nurses there. So if you've enjoyed it, do get involved, do pay for the class, and yeah, I hope you've had a really, really lovely session, and I hope your spine feels nice and groovy now. So thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and leave me some comments. Bye.